Can I have that one?
Yeah, go for it. That's what I was going to give you. Yeah. Especially for you.
Thank you.
No worries.
What's your first press conference? No?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Brisbane Stadium today. My name is Peter Philopoulos. I'm the Head of Marketing, Communications and Corporate Affairs at Football Australia. And on behalf of Football Australia, I'm delighted to welcome you all here this morning for this very special milestone. Before we commence the formalities, Football Australia would like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay our respects to the elders past and present. We extend that respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today as well. To kick off proceedings, I would like to introduce our Head of Women's Football, Women's World Cup Legacy and Inclusion, Sarah Walsh, to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for being here today. So firstly, I'd also like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we meet today and pay my respects to Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander, past, present and emerging. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank the Deputy Premier of Queensland, the Honourable Stephen Miles, thank you, Stadiums Queensland CEO Todd Harris, Suncorp Stadium CEO Alan Graham, and our Football Queensland representatives and kids here. Thank you from Brisbane City. Seems like only yesterday that we secured the co-hosting rights to the FIFA Women's World Cup. Early hours, 26th of June, back in 2020, some pretty dark days for everybody, but it was a really bright one for us. And here we are today, celebrating 1 year to go before the tournament actually commences, July 20, 2023. As exciting as it is to host the Women's World Cup in 2023, on our shores, it has always represented much more than a tournament itself to Football Australia. Our Legacy 23 plan provides a platform for the sport to leverage this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to realise a meaningful legacy for football, the community and the nation well after the event has actually been delivered itself. Whilst we are pleased to have secured $230 million in Legacy 23 funding from the federal and several state governments today, we have plenty of work to do. We still have three pillars, namely our leadership and development pillar, our international engagement pillar and our community facilities pillar, that are underfunded that we still need to work on. The final 12 months in the lead up to the FIFA Women's World Cup is crucial for Football Australia and football more broadly here in Australia. We want to leave a legacy for our sport as we're excited about the year ahead of us. Our legacy plan will ensure Australia can realise the long-term benefits of hosting a prestigious global sporting event, from economic, social, physical and mental health benefits to its promotion of social cohesion and multicultural inclusion. Legacy 23 will introduce new, expand existing programs to ensure the future of football in Australia is stronger than ever before. As the world's biggest women's sporting event in the world, it is expected that over 1 billion people across the world will tune into our Women's World Cup next year here on home soil. There's never been a more exciting time for Australian football, with our Socceroos recently qualifying for their 5th consecutive FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and our Combank Matildas to contest the FIFA Women's World Cup here right in Australia next year. Brisbane Stadium, beautiful Brisbane Stadium, plenty of rich history, will host 8 FIFA Women's World Cup matches, including a Matildas group match here on the 27th of July 2023. And of course we have both of our senior national teams playing in Brisbane this September. We know football fans from across Australia will converge in Queensland's capital to take the opportunity to see Australia's best footballers. We're calling it the Football Takeover. Tickets are now on sale and we're pleased to let you know that 20,000 tickets have already been sold in a week for these matches. For fans who are attending Socceroos send-off match for Qatar FIFA World Cup, you'll also get to celebrate 100 years of Australia's men's national team. We have plenty of activities, so please get involved. Just lastly, I'd like to we appreciate the ongoing support of Queensland Government, Stadiums Queensland, Brisbane City Council in partnering with us to bring both the Combank Matildas and Socceroos to Brisbane in September. We can't wait to create some more memorable matches in this beautiful stadium. I'd like to thank you for coming today, and I'd also like to call up the Honourable Stephen Miles, Deputy Premier, to say a couple of words. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Well, how exciting is this? The countdown has started. 12 months to go until Australia hosts the world's biggest women's sporting event, the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023, including here in Queensland and at Suncorp Stadium, where we will play host to 8 matches, including one of the Matildas group matches, a quarter-final and the third-place playoff. It's estimated to generate $30 million in economic activity, the equivalent of 100 direct full-time jobs. 1 billion people worldwide will tune in to watch this event on their televisions. But it's about much more than the economic benefit and the chance to promote our state to the world in the lead up to the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games. It's also about the transformation in women's sport, showing young women and girls how they can participate in the world game, how they can aspire to represent their country, or just be more active, be more healthy. And so it's about encouraging, and the Queensland government, the Palaszczuk government, is determined to work with football to encourage women and girls to do more sport, to be more active. It's a very exciting time for sport in Queensland as we work towards the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games, which are roughly 10 years away now. So mark your diaries, 27 July 2023, come here to Suncorp and see the Matildas play and win. Of course, you don't have to wait till then. We'll have them in town in a couple of months' time as well.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Deputy Premier. That concludes the proceedings. We will conduct the official photos now, and afterwards Sarah Walsh and the Deputy Premier will be available for interviews. Before we move into position for the photos, again, I'd like to reiterate that Football Australia acknowledges the Premier and the Deputy Premier's office, Department of Tourism, Innovation and Sport, and the team here at Suncorp Stadium for hosting this morning's media call, and also on behalf of Football Australia, FIFA, the Deputy Premier and Queensland Government and Stadiums Queensland, we thank you for attending today, and we very much look forward to seeing everyone back here in September when the Combank Matildas and Socceroos take over Brisbane Stadium. Thank you very much. Okay.
Photos up here and downstairs where you go have your one-on-ones.